Going on, Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're checking out the QSP Penguin V2. The original Penguin is QSP's most popular model of all time, and it's widely regarded as budget royalty amongst the knife community. Because of that, it's seen a ton of different iterations. You can get the Penguin with different locking mechanisms. There's a non-locking slip joint version of it, different blade shapes available. There's premium offerings, mini versions, an XL version, and so really just a ton of options to choose from when it comes to the original Penguin. So when it came time to revamp for V2, they really took it back to its roots. So we had the same locking mechanism that we saw in the original, that liner lock. We also have D2 steel on our Sheepsfoot style blade. They made sure to keep it under the $50 price point, which is one of the reasons the original was so popular. It's just a good size knife with great materials at a great price point, and so I think that was a really important sticking point, that they wanted to keep it under that $50 price point, which these are. And so the only changes that you're actually going to see are the internals. Appearance wise, it's the same, the measurements are the same, but they revamped that pivot system and they added ceramic ball bearings. So right out of the box, you're going to get that ultra smooth experience, which is going to be important for some people. I know people prefer ceramic ball bearings. There are other people like myself who prefer washers, and so if that's the case, they kept that in mind as well. You can add on washers for an additional $3.99. These do not ship with the knife, so make sure to add them on if you want them, and you'll get 2 Teflon washers as well as 2 bronze washers, so you can still stick with washers if that's your preference. I will be doing a separate video swapping those out in the future, but if you're swapping yours before then, just be aware that the Teflon goes on the inside touching the blade, the bronze on the outside for the best experience. But again, we'll do that in the future. This video, we're going to kind of keep it bone stock. Price point is going to depend on what scales you go with. So these blue shredded carbon fiber version are a little bit more premium. These are at the high end of the range at $44.99. But again, even if you add in the washers for $4 more, you're still under $50 by $1. They go down to about $38.99 if you go with some of the more budget scale offerings, and so very, very affordable. I will make sure to leave a link to the landing page where you can find all of the different configurations available, as well as those washers down in the description of the video. I went with the Black Stonewash finish because it's my favorite finish, so as soon as I saw that was an option, of course, that's the one that I chose. But you can get these non-coated in a lot of the different scale options as well, including on the shredded carbon fiber options. I was on the fence whether I should get red or blue. I almost went with red since I have the mini Penguin in shredded carbon fiber, but the blue is just calling to me, so that's what I ended up going with, and really happy with my choice. Looks great, and you're gonna get a lot of variance on what yours looks like. Each one's gonna be kind of unique to your individual knife, which is nice. In terms of the sizing, I already mentioned it's the same as the original Penguin, but not everyone's handled one, and even if you have, probably not fresh in your mind, so we'll just go over everything again. 7.06 inches in overall length, and so perfect for EDC size knife. I like to carry 7 to 7.25 inches or so for my EDC knife, and so right in that Goldilocks zone for me. It's kind of a middle ground. Some people prefer smaller, some prefer larger, but this is a pretty neutral sizing. That gives us 4 inches on their handle, which allows for a full 4-finger grip for me. Very comfortable ergos on this. It's pretty neutral in terms of the shape of the handle. You can see not a lot of curves outside of our cutout for our liner lock, and so that's going to feel pretty comfortable for most hands since there's not really anything to get caught up on, no hot spots or anything like that. We do have an ultra deep carry pocket clip, which is reversible. I say ultra deep carry just because it goes a little bit deeper than the handle itself, so it protrudes out a little bit, meaning that that entire handle is going to tuck nicely into your pocket, and it is reversible as well. The pocket clip itself is pretty generic, just kind of folded steel generic pocket clip, but it works well, and again, nice deep carry. It's also nice that it's reversible, keeping this nice knife very ambidextrous. We have double lugs on our thumb studs as well. Now the liner lock obviously won't be able to be reversed, but most lefties have adapted to being able to manipulate that lock with their left hand as well, so that's the only part that's not fully ambidextrous there. We do have steel liner underneath those scales. Not sure if these are compatible with scales from the V1 or not. That may be something we'll have to test out in the future as well, but again, a lot of different scale options to choose from right out of the gate with this release, and these are already available on their website as well. And so 3.06 inches on our Sheepsfoot style blade. Beautiful blade shape. We've seen, I think, a Warncliffe version of it as well, but I love the classic Sheepsfoot on here. D2 steel, so really solid steel at that price point. And again, this one has that nice coating. I really like a stonewash coating over a just regular black finish because I think the shininess of them sometimes looks a little bit cheap, and so kind of knock that off, and then you don't have to worry about wear and tear so much because if you get any markings on there, it just blends in with the stonewash. So really like how that's executed. We have our sharpening choil pretty much in line with our thumb stud there. The thumb stud tucks nicely behind your cutting edge, so you're not going to get caught up on that as you're cutting through cardboard and things like that. Plenty of access to that liner lock. We do have some jimping on there as well. I prefer no jimping on my liner frame locks. I think it's a little bit easier on the hands, especially if it's something that you're fidgeting with a lot. This knife is very smooth, fun to flick open, but that jimping can chew up your finger after a while. I think with the coating, it kind of tempers that down just a little bit. It's not ultra aggressive, so not destroying my thumb so much, but I still would prefer just a smooth liner lock, but it's kind of the same as the original there, obviously. Now we do have some jimping on the spine of the knife as well. Nice positioning on there right where my thumb lands. It's not very aggressive at all. I wouldn't mind if those serrations went a little bit deeper. It does a little bit in terms of grippiness, but again, not as aggressive as I personally like. Some people don't love aggressive jimping though, so that might be perfect for you. But you can see those are pretty shallow jimping on that spine. Again, thumb studs on both sides, so you can thumb flick, middle finger flick, left or right handed, no problem whatsoever. We also do have that lanyard hole here on the back. The shredded carbon fiber I think looks really great. There's not a ton of blue in there, but the blue that is there pops, and each one's going to be kind of unique to your knife, so it gives it its own sort of unique fingerprint. Overall, really cool. Excited about this release. Glad they were able to get it in under that $50 price point. I think a really welcome just kind of refresh. I think this punches way above its weight class in terms of look. This does not look like a $45 knife to me. It looks like a $100 knife, and so really like the aesthetics of this one, and a lot of great options to choose from. I think I was kind of on the fence between these two in particular just because I find the shredded carbon fiber with that pop of color very appealing, but again, a really lot of nice options to choose from. Of course, you do get your have a knife day and penguin sticker here that we get with all our QSP knives. Comes in your kind of standard foam cutout here, and then just a black box with the QSP logo embossed in silver on there. You also do get a card with all of these, which I always think is nice, where it gives you all of those specs. And so I think the only thing not listed on here is the weight, which I should mention. I don't think I have yet. I did weigh this one in at 3 1/4 ounces. So in terms of the inch to ounce ratio, not perfect there, but it's pretty relatively lightweight, not super heavy in hand or in the pocket. Let me know what you think of this one down in the comments below. Also curious if you're team washers or team bearings. I know myself, I'm washers. I think a bigger part of the community is probably washers, but I think a lot of the times, especially for people that are newer into the knife community, they prefer those bearings for that smooth experience out of the box. Washers break in really nicely. I think wear in a little bit better over time, which is why I prefer them, but you are going to have that nice smooth action out of the box with the bearings, which is definitely a nice feeling as well. But again, would love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, checking out some of my other content. All helps the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.